everyone, welcome to Shifty's Club. Today, I'm going to talk about the video game championships and the best Pokemon to use. Check it out.
As you all may know, I said this show is about rogue strategies, and you would be right. But you can't play rogue until you find out what's popular, to where you could find what rogue strategy you're going to use. Here are the most popular Pokemon. First off, Terrakion. This Pokemon was by far the most popular Pokemon at regionals in Master Division. Next, Haxorus was found in a lot of very fast KO parties due to its enormous attack and moderate speed, which can be EV trained to be deadly. After that comes a pair of Pokemon also seen in these parties, or most of them, and pretty much all in the Masters Division, Tornadus and Thundurus. These Pokemon were usually choiced out of certain games, yet lots of competitive players seem to be using both. Next came Hydreigon, which is totally self-explanatory. It's the Dragonite of black and white, so everyone uses it. Chandelure was probably the only non-legendary Pokemon to make top cut in at least 4 different parties in all 3 divisions, which leads to Archeops, who has one of the most absurd base stat totals ever of all non-legendary Pokemon at 567. With enormous attack and speed, it made its way into every speed party that tries to hit hard and hit fast. That covers our major popular Pokemon. Now let's look at the minor appearances. I'm not going to explain these in detail, but just to give you an idea, you have Crocodile, Reuniclus, Amoonguss, Jellicent, Electric, Druddigon, and Bisharp. They weren't too popular, but they did make their way into some pretty good parties later into the top cut rounds. That covers the populars of the tournament as far as popularity. Now, let's look at Pokemon I expected to be popular, but weren't. First off, let's do all 3 of the fully evolved starters. A lot of kids thought that their starters, which is probably already level 50 or more, would be the best on the team. That was an understatement. Only a few players, period, use even superior for speed parties, but even few players use Inborn Samurai, period. I'm also surprised that only a few players use Zoroark, which I asked uh, so many people and didn't even know how to get it. Vanillux is the most shocking Pokemon that didn't make it in. It has a base stat total higher than the starters, if I'm right on that. And it's a solid ice type, perfect for Haxorus, Druddigon, and even Hydreigon, who are among the most popular. Now for Rogue Talk. The following are Pokemon who are not in the populars and don't even need a shout out as they suck way too bad. No offense to anyone, but these Pokemon just aren't good enough for competitive play. These include Stoutland, Seismitoad, Gothitelle, Heatmor, Virizion, and Volcarona. Now, Volcarona is because it's caught at level 70, and even so, its lower form doesn't EV train so well. Next, the following are the ones that are above average and usually rogue. First off, Gigalite. It's by far the best solid rock type in my opinion. High attack and defense, but no 4x weakness to grass and water. Plus, it has the ability Sturdy. Next is a Pokemon to break the theme of Nationals next year, Conkeldurr. One of the heaviest hitting Pokemon in Unova was so underestimated that this Pokemon, if I can remember right, destroyed one player's way to the final round. Scolipede just might be looking to give the bug and poison dual type hope. It is a tank to anything but psychic in a competition, but plenty of ways around fire. Its physical weaknesses are but to laugh about, seeing how fast this Pokemon could be. No, with serious EV training, it could surpass non-EV trained Aselgor in battle, which is never the case. Mienshao was primarily a high jump kick Pokemon, quote unquote, but could definitely see some light at the Masters level. Golurk was surprisingly unpopular, being resistant to normal, fighting, and lightning gives a serious edge boost. Not only that, but it is the only ghost type that gets the same type attack bonus from Earthquake, which is a very competitive move. Cobalion is an interesting form of Poliwrath. Same types, same basic movesets, but Cobalion has a lot more working for it. Next, I will talk about the most rogue Pokemon in Unova. First off, Alomomola is a Pokemon that a lot of defense teams want as their last Pokemon. Remember, the breakers are decided by Pokemon left, then HP becomes a factor. This is towards the end of the battle when time is called, and it depends on the number of Pokemon left. If you have the same number as your opponent, then it goes into HP. With Alomomola, you are almost guaranteed to win this matchup. So, when HP becomes a factor, it usually gives you the winning edge. Next, Escavalier, Ferrothorn, and Klinklang are all great Pokemon to have in teams like Trick You, which Trick Room doesn't work too well, Defense, and Steel type. They're by far the hardest to knock out because of their defense and special defense ratings. Yet, there is one that stands out above all, Cofagrigus. I told everyone already how good it is, yet no one believed me. Showing its face in so few parties that it was like it was off into Ghost Town. If you read up on it, you were sure to see how good it really is.
That's all I got for today's episode. Next episode, I'll talk about one of the most popular Pokemon at the Video Game Regional Championships, Terrakion. Next time, at Shifty's Club.